Hi, everybody. Welcome to this reading. I hope that you're doing well, taking as much advantage as you can to rest. And I hope you are staying hydrated. Let us see what the cards have for us. We have a very interesting full moon coming up. That was a very interesting way for those cards to fall out. Okay, we have the Page of Rods and the the Page of Swords and the Eight of Wands. And then we have the Two of Swords beneath the deck. The same energy as previously, which is very interesting because the previous post or reading that I did, where these three cards all together showed up in that reading, that was a few days ago. And I've since done shuffles. So it just blows my mind the way that these cards and your angels, whoever is watching, because this is clearly you, right? This clearly has to do with you. So it's just incredible, the clarity of communication. And interesting how there's still some lack of clarity. From when I last posted, there was a lack of clarity. And a lack of, yes, then you have the Strength card beneath the deck. And then the Hierophant. Do we remember when this card fell out, if you've been keeping up with what I've been posting the past few days? Very common themes, very fucking interesting. Anyway, yeah. I don't want to sound like I'm invalidating somebody's shadow experiences or the things that they've been processing that could have brought you to this point of having a lack of clarity or a lack of clarity over your mind, which in turn connects to your sense of self, right? This also has to do with like a sense with the traditional institution of things, and that forms a sense of self. So that's what I'm receiving here, that's what's important. The brain and the heart are not connected. This is also, again, the moon phase that we're still in. And the moon feels important, has felt important, but I feel like bringing that up anyway. If you can take it and if you're ready, you need to practice more conviction in deciding that everything will be okay. You need to apply more conviction in the things that you have learned about your universal living experience. I get the sense that I'm reading for people who understand that we are having an energetic experience more than we are having this human, dense 3D experience. I likely am reading for somebody who is at least faithful to some kind of higher ideal. You understand universal influence over your reality. You understand how it is that what you think about comes manifest. I'm sure you've experienced it in your life, and if you haven't, you should do that water experiment that I love to talk about, where you take 2 containers of water, you blast love at the one, blast hate at the other, freeze them and see how the ices freeze over. Just as a simple understanding of your influence and of your energetic influence. So if you're somebody who understands that, what is standing in the way between you and a point of bliss or clarity? This, to me, what normally stands in the way when I feel this way, is a lack of patience and a lack of accepting that sometimes there are things you will not understand, a release of the mind in general, and just being able to be present in the moment. But this, with the Strength card, also gives me the sense of somebody needing to be present with themselves and with all their bullshit. And with the Page of the Swords, this may be in the bullshit that you think. If you possibly have thoughts at this point in time of not being good enough, bullshit. If you're saying, oh, I can't do this because nonsense. Any I can'ts, nonsense. Any complaints, nonsense. Considering how far you are in whatever your journey was, this is obviously different from relationship. This is different from relationship to relationship. But part of the wisdom of understanding this as an energetic experience is acknowledging that everything is somewhat a reflection of you or how you think and feel inside. So with people who constantly blame others, nonsense. Depending on how far you are in this game. And if you really want to do the work, and this is painful and so difficult, especially if you've suffered things like psychological abuse and if you've been betrayed or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It depends on where you are in your journey. But if you are there, and if you really, really want to test yourself, and I think with the presence of these two cards, it's not about whether or not you want to test yourself. It's about the fact that this is a test that is made for you in order to make you stronger. You are just energetically built for this test. God's strongest. Any time you find yourself blaming anyone, even if they are to blame, take that as a signal of the self, of the what could I, something that is really annoying but has really helped me in understanding all the nuances of myself. Because with every evil or dark shadow I experience in others, it may take time, but I always find it in myself at some point. So always asking myself, what about this person's behavior that's irking me, or that's doing whatever to the way that I feel, or that's specifically affecting the way that I think? What is it about, not just this person's behavior, but about this situation, is a reflection of me? If there was no one to blame, and if you just understood your whole life as just the contract, your soul contract, it's just part of the contract. If all of it was part of the contract, what does that make of the pain that you've been through? How would you decide differently? Say you have a relationship or a connection that triggers feelings of abandonment, and you feel like you want to blame the person regardless of what they've done. You feel like you want to blame them for abandoning you. Then, and this is personal, this is my lesson. I had to ask myself, how are all the ways in which I have abandoned myself? This can be as simple as you making a lifelong plan with someone who you tell yourself you're going to be with forever. That plan breaks, and this is a reasonable reaction. That this relationship breaks up, and then you look at your plan of life and realize that none of it makes sense now because it all had to do with this person. That was you abandoning yourself. People abandon themselves in all sorts of ways, not just in relationships. This reflects painfully, but truthfully, in my opinion. I really think this is true. But anyway, this reflects in something as simple as somebody deciding to work a job that kills them inside. Like they're so dead every time needing to show up for the shit. But it's because you got to do what you got to do. The nuance, it's complicated. It's really complicated. But if you're following a system, I know I'm following my spiritual beliefs and my beliefs in the higher power. I work with my ancestors. I work with the people I pray to, the loved ones who have passed on. I work with them all. I know who I'm working with. So I will never, I have to face whatever shadows come from the experience of deciding I'm never going to sacrifice myself in any way for anything, because I know that I'm got by my spiritual understandings and by my relationship with God. You know what I mean? It feels like all of that stuff. I yapped on many examples. Hopefully you find some rooting in your own personal experience. I can only speak that way in terms of the energy that these cards imply. It's very difficult to put into actual words what this work is, what I'm feeling. But I can say that it's going to be a lot in the way that you think. We're still there. All the mind programming things, everything, get into it. Meditation, binaural frequency sounds via YouTube. Even massaging the head if you really want to go there. I've suggested this in previous channelings and readings. Massaging is it the vagus nerve? Here. Doing lymphatic whatevers. There's also lymphatic yoga available online. That might be helpful. And be willing to feel through a lot. The presence of these two cards to me, all of them together actually, give a lot of very quick thoughts about some things that you'd rather not face, but you have to. It feels like you'll have to when you feel it and you get overcome with the kind of like mind obsession about something in the past that you have to think, you just can't find yourself not thinking about that thing. Know that you're probably doing energy work around that thing, and then just let it happen. Meditation. Yeah, I'm getting meditation will be very useful. And let me pull from the Intuitive Tarot and then close it. All right. That insisted. We have the Page of Rods. This also came out in a reading that I did. Okay, and the Nine of on YouTube, and the Nine of Swords beneath the deck. So yeah, it's time to process some shit that you thought you could, you know. I'm getting the frequency of somebody who tells themselves that they don't have time to cry, or who has to book time to cry. I'm not getting that you will cry. Oh, well, you might. I'm getting that it will be good for you if you do, but it's not about the emotions of it. It's about what it does to your head, or what clues it gives you about your mind and the way that you think. Very important that the way that you think be changed, transformed. Beneath the Hierophant, you have the 9 and the Ace of Cups. Oh, and then the Wheel of Fortune. Really good luck here. Yes, and the contract. The Wheel of Fortune and the Hierophant. It's the contract. It's just part of your soul's journey. It's part of your soul's work. If you can learn and try to affirm over and over again that you are on a soul journey, you're on a soul's path, that's part of your deal, then things might feel a little bit easier. But know that it has to happen. Energetically, you are going through a kind of like a new processing. It's like you're taking a soul exam right now. You have to go through it. This is a young person, often female, highly intuitive, but tends to be quite defensive. Needs appreciation and understanding, but finds it impossible to ask for help. Often a loner, highly creative, she may still be looking for her authentic means of expression. Okay. Please also understand whatever shadow work you may be doing right now is part of that process of finding your authenticity. Even if you don't know what that means, you will find out. And when you do step into your truth more and more, this is something that grows because we are so expansive. You will feel it, and it will be amazing and very, very healing. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next reading.